We're not even a week into 2018 and I've already lost my hope in humanity. If you're raising eyebrows at what I just said, I am talking about the latest Paul brother antic involving Aokigahara. I don't want to waste any more time or energy talking about it, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave some links in the description below to some tweets and videos made by people who are more qualified than me to speak on the topic. But not all hope is lost, because with a new year comes new anime, new games, new conventions, new hentai doujinshi! Did I say that last one out loud? But anyway, all sorts of good stuff is on the horizon, so let's leave the bad and focus on the good, as in this video I'm going to be taking a gander at some of the things to look forward to in the new year. Roll the intro! Throughout all of last year, there were plenty of anime series touted for release in 2018. To go through all of the ones that I'm absolutely excited for would take way too long. So for this particular section, I'm going to narrow it down to just 4 titles that I absolutely cannot wait for. So let's get down to it. Also, as a side note, these are going to be in no particular order. It just makes things a lot easier. 2018's just started and I'm already being a lazy shit. Woo! Let's go! Even though the statistics might say otherwise, Trigger and A1 Pictures are some of my personal favourite anime studios. If, perchance, you don't know who they are, they've produced titles such as Inferno Cop and Kill la Kill, and DanMachi and Sword Art Online. I highly recommend that you check those 4 titles out. Yes, it's coming together perfectly. Soon my plan to spread my perfect anime taste to the entire world will come to fruition. But to kickstart this year, Trigger and A1 Pictures are coming together for the first of a trio of shows which I have personally dubbed the Resurgence of Mecha. Damn, that sounds like a good video idea. I should write that one down. Known as Darling in the Franxx, the show depicts a post-apocalyptic world where there are these children who lived in closed-off cities, and they know nothing about the outside world or sky or anything like that. Is it me, or does that sound familiar? Basically, the gist of the story is that these children I just mentioned, they're also mecha pilots, and their purpose is to fight these giant enemies known as Kyoryu. Okay, wait a minute, this sounds really familiar! And what I assume will be the main plot device and what the main story will revolve around, the fact is that these children, they live to pilot the Franxx and defeat the Kyoryu. So if they can't do that, then they're deemed worthless. All concept issues aside, what I've seen from the show so far does not fail to get me excited. The soundtrack sounds absolutely amazing, the character design looks insane. Oh god, I want 02 to step on me. And it's by Trigger and A1 Pictures, who can realistically do no wrong. And come on, Trigger, some relation to Gurren Lagann. You guys should know how excited I get when it comes to anything remotely Gurren Lagann related. Gurren motherfucking Lagann! So, let's move on. Now, not everything I'm looking forward to is anime original. There are a fair few sequels which have caught my eye. One of them being the 2nd season of Overlord. Now, I enjoy a good old trapped in a video game story just as much as the next guy. Okay, probably a bit more than the next guy, but for most people, I think Overlord is the proverbial light at the end of the tunnel. It's that show which reignited people's hope in that genre. Before Overlord came along, the formula was running dry, the genre was getting stale, it was the same thing getting rehashed over and over and over. The young hero trapped in the video game rises up to save the world from whatever peril had befallen it. But then Mr. Skeleton and his band of big-titted married men came and turned the formula upside down by giving us the perspective of the villain. Or the anti-hero if you really want to be like that, what does it fucking matter? When season 1 of Overlord finished, I started reading the light novels from the beginning, so I'm actually pretty invested in the series. From what I know, the 2nd season will start adapting from Volume 4, the Lizard Man Heroes, as we can kind of gather from what was shown in the latest PV. So it's going to be dropping us back in right where Season 1 left off. I'm not gonna lie, I'm just happy to see more Alberto animated by Madhouse. Remember, I'm a simple man. Let's move on to the next show, shall we? Okay, I promise. Hand on heart, these are the last sequels that I'm going to be mentioning in this list. But it's FLCL, and if you know FLCL, you know FLCL. If you don't, well, watch it. That's all I'm going to say. But if you know FLCL, then you'll know how excited I am for these sequels to come out. It holds a special place in my heart because it's actually one of the first shows that I watched. Yeah, what a way to get into anime, I know. Admittedly, it doesn't make sense when you first watch it, and for some people, like me, that's part of its charm, but then you watch it again and you're like... When the sequels were originally announced, people were understandably cautious about this. Why is FLCL coming back? The original story is complete, isn't it? This is all knowledge, it's a cash grab. And so on and so forth. As for me, personally, I was just happy to have a series from my childhood come back in full force. And as long as it's not absolutely god-awful trash garbage, then we Gucci. I am interested to know though as to why 2 seasons were greenlighted at once. It's not often that happens. The only other occasion that I know of that happening is for Symphogear, which makes sense because Symphogear is crazy popular in Japan. But for FLCL, as far as I'm aware, it's not super popular in Japan or in the international anime community. Like I just mentioned earlier, it's an absurdist cult classic, only really popular with a small group of people. I mean, at the very least, it means we get more Haruka, and that in itself is something to be hyped for. She'll carry the series regardless. And I mean, if it's really bad, really bad, the soundtrack is being composed by the Pillows again, and you can bet your ass that that will carry the series. Now, this is an interesting one. I wasn't originally looking forward to Violet Evergarden, no matter how many aesthetic PVs made it to the top of our anime. And I'm not even the biggest Kyoto Animation fan. Okay, hold on. Put your pitchforks and torches down. I'm not the biggest fan, but there are some of their shows which I appreciate, okay? I've seen Nichiju and I've seen Koi no Katachi and I love them both, okay? Put the pitchforks down! But the major reason that I'm looking forward to this is because it's been recently highlighted that Violet Evergarden will be being streamed on Netflix on January the 11th. Basically, I'm going to be able to watch it like legitimately, which if you know me, you know is like the only way that I watch anime. So that's the main reason that I'm looking forward to this, that I can watch it and appreciate it without having that like guilt hang over my head. It definitely looks beautiful, but it wouldn't be the first wonderfully animated show that I've looked forward to let me down. But yeah, it's coming out later this month, and there's not really much else to say about it, so let's move on to the next section. Video games. The last part of the otaku holy trinity. Last year I bought a PS4 solely for Japanese games such as Persona 5 and Nier Automata, but also for standout PS4 exclusives such as Horizon Zero Dawn. Nier was my personal game of the year, and the other two placed pretty highly in my personal rankings. Titles that were teased last year such as Persona 5 Dancing All Night and BlazBlue Cross Tag Battle have already got me considerably hyped for this year in anime video games and just video games in general. And much like the previous section, if I were to go over absolutely every video game that I'm excited for this year, we'd be here for a while. So for this section in particular, I've cut it down to 2 titles that I'm really looking forward to. Let's get down to it. I'm just gonna come out and say it. There's no 2 ways about it. I'm a gacha fiend. A horrible gacha fiend. If I'm not playing games on my PS4 or my PC, I am usually in bed just cycling through all of the gacha games I've got on my phone, whether it be Fate Grand Order, or Fire Emblem Heroes, or Senran Kagura New Link, or Alternative Girls, and of course, Grand Blue Fantasy. They're genuinely good games which have their charms and their appeal, and I genuinely enjoy playing them. So when I heard that a Grand Blue Fantasy game was coming to console, produced by Platinum Games of all people, glory to mankind, 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 I was pretty excited, to say the least. Now, this game was actually announced all the way back in 2016, but thanks to a tweet from Nino that I saw recently, I was reminded that this was a thing, and my hype levels immediately went all the way back up. At Grand Blue Fantasy Festival in Japan, they recently teased some new gameplay, and they showed off some new features, including 4-player co-op. And I'm just sitting there watching this teaser like... So yeah, you could say that I'm looking forward to this game. I've been playing Grand Blue Fantasy for about over a year now, and even though it's got an official English translation, I feel like I barely see anybody talk about it. So hopefully this brings what I think is one of the best mobile games I've ever played to a wider audience. Another thing that cropped up in my mind whilst I was watching this trailer and subsequently getting hyped, Grand Blue Fantasy has a lot of characters. And I mean a lot of characters. So my main concern is how are they going to bring all of those characters, if they're going to bring all those characters, into the main game? What characters are going to be there to start things off? Is there going to be a crew system like there is in the mobile game? Since the game is called Re-Link, will there be any kind of connection between the mobile game and this console version? Perhaps they'll do what is currently being done in Senran Kagura Peach Peach Splash, where they add new characters every now and again in DLC packs. Oh well, that's honestly not for me to worry about it. I will most likely be purchasing this game regardless. So, let's move on to the last game in this section. I mean, I don't really know what you want me to say about this one. You want me to go in depth about the world or the characters? No, it's the anime hack and slash. What else is there to say? I mean, if I'm being really picky, I guess one thing that can make it better would be if there was a character with great thighs. Whoa, hold on! Calling it now, this is going to be Game of the Year! Okay, I got a bit carried away there. Now, thighs are all well and good, but there's gotta be balance in the universe. Show me some balance, show me some more good stuff, and then I'll resume getting hyped. In all seriousness though, this trailer really does do a good job of getting my blood pumping, especially with the track being performed by Vamps. Now, talking about the actual game, for once, the combat looks like it will be super satisfying. It seems like there'll be some kind of co-op system as well, which you don't really get in a hack and slash. It's usually you versus the world and your big sword, so that looks like it will be pretty interesting to play around with as well. The world that Code Vein is set in reminds me of Darksiders, a post-apocalyptic modern world. I don't know, if you've played Darksiders, hopefully you'll get that same feeling. Maybe it's just me, but after watching that trailer, that's the feeling that I got, just from an environmental perspective. And difficulty-wise, apparently the game is supposed to be kind of hard. Kind of like Dark Souls. I'm triggered! This is why no one can take video game journalism seriously anymore. But back to Code Vein, all jokes and memes aside, it just genuinely looked like a really good game with great art, great animation, great combat, amazing music, and a decent storyline. And I cannot wait to get my hands on it later this year. Whew, I think that's just about gonna do it for me. There are other things that I'm looking forward to this year that don't fit into the previous categories, like Hyper Japan, and there's some other things going on behind the scenes where if they go well, I could potentially be going to Anime Expo this year. I could also potentially actually be going to Japan later this year. You can bet your ass if those two things happen, the channel will be bombarded with vlogs and video content of all sorts. It should be pretty good. So all in all, there's a shit ton to be done this year, but also a shit ton to look forward to. Guys, let's make 2018 a year to remember for all the right reasons. Anyway, if you've made it this far into the video, you have my utmost gratitude. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, all the places you can think of. All those actions help me out more than you could ever imagine. Enjoy your day or night, and I will see you guys in the next video. Catch you guys in the next one.